For those of you who wondered what is the difference between the Mark 1 and the Mark 2 SSR4, well, here are all the main differences. On the Mark 2, we have a complete new external redesign of the gun. I'm gonna start with the front, new redesigned flash hider. Obviously not the most realistic thing in the world, but this is Airsoft. We had a bit more free hand in designing this nice cut. The handguard has been also completely redesigned with two integrated metal QD points, as well as light cuts, slot cuts on all of the sides, top, bottom, left, right, with an optional top mounted rail to convert it into a full rail. We have a completely redesigned upper and lower receiver. We have updated controls on that receiver and also an ambidextrous magazine release. Compared to the SSR4 Mark 1, the Mark 2 can now be customizable. You can exchange the trigger face, you can exchange the fire selector, you can exchange the barrel, which comes in a short configuration, also original length configuration, and it just adds that little bit of customization to make it your own. The colored fire selector also has a more ergonomic design, so you can have a very, very positive feel even with gloves on. We also have a new stock, smooth adjusting with tension built in, so it's not gonna rattle or wobble on you. Another quality of life improvement on the Mark II is the spring quick exchange, which is actually now as quick as it can be and as effortless as it can be. It utilizes a similar system to the Mark I, but it has been tweaked just enough so that it doesn't create any frustration. What I mean by that, I don't even have to look inside the tube. I just take the tool, I put it in, I start rotating, and the tool will automatically find its mark. It has a funnel inside, so it's always gonna direct it to the screw, so I just have to press it in and start spinning. And at some point, I'm gonna catch the screw and I can actually take it out. After I've done that, usually there are some parts that can fall from the gun, not in this one. The nut inside and the screw are completely captive, so once you remove this tube, nothing's gonna fall out. You can confidently just let it hang in the cables and no issues whatsoever. You're not gonna lose any parts. You can do this basically standing. You just change the spring, now with a positive look on the spring guide, which tells you if you're locked or unlocked. If you can read it in this orientation, it means you're either locked or unlocked, depending on what you can read on the spring guide. You can do this in under 1 minute with your eyes closed. Furthermore, we have also updated the internals of the SSR4 Mark II, and now it is capable of shooting 25 RPS and also be even more reliable than it has been before. Thanks to the new reinforced gearbox, a new piston inside, a more robust Hopup Chamber and a barrel tensioner, as well as the trigger itself, which now has a fully steel machined axle build to ensure minimal wobble and the most reliability that you can have in a trigger. The ETU also has updated slightly and now features an electronic safety. So when you put it on safe, you can still push the trigger, but obviously nothing will happen. There is a very, very reliable electronic lock once you have it on safe. One of the key features of the Mark II is obviously the trigger. The trigger can now have exchangeable trigger faces, trigger indexing basically, and it also features two adjustments right out of the box. One preload adjustment, and the second is the trigger pull force. You can make this softer or harder than the original Mark I trigger, depending on the need and the build that you're running. The Mark II also features a few quality of life improvements. First and foremost being the charging handle and the dust cover mechanism. Now fully magnetic, so there is no wearing on the parts. It's 100% reliable. Furthermore, the design itself actually allows you to adjust the Hopup from a shooting stance. We've designed it such that after you open the dust cover, you can already see the Hopup wheel. I can already see the Hopup indication. I can immediately make an adjustment from one number to the next, and I know exactly what I'm gonna have in the trajectory. The Hopup Chamber also has a spring-loaded knob, so every change will have an immediate effect. You don't have to shoot a few times for the Hopup to settle in. That's actually quite an important feature to make this possible as effortless as you need. If you want that little bit of more realism where the dust cover is open, you can actually exchange the position of the fake dust cover to the closed position, in which case you will have to keep the charging handle depressed in order for you to access the Hopup.